Katie Hopkins on PragerU is giving us an inside look once again to what's going on in her arrest in the UK in the Islamic immigration issue. Let's take a look-see.
Yeah, and for the longest time, it's been a long and lonely road, something that you know about, something that ordinary Americans know about. For the longest time, it's been long and lonely and endless, and meetings and draws and raffles and make a basket and have a clipboard and explain things, try and get signatures. It's been an endurance test for everybody. And for the longest time, I was known as, and forgive the language, but the biggest bitch in Britain. I was the enemy. I was a monster. I was to be, spat at in the street so that my truths couldn't be heard because I was the evil or something. And what's happened over time, and I think America tracks this as well, and a lot of your viewers and listeners will understand, is we've seen a 180 on that. So from being utterly eviscerated in the courts, lost my home, lost all my jobs, they came for my kids, social services threatening to take my children away. From that to now, where I'm allowed to live in my country, I'm allowed to do what I do, stand up. And now I just sold out my next tour, May till September, 63 venues, 45,000 tickets, all 5 nations. And even venues that were canceling me 2 years ago are now asking if they can book. And so I know, I felt it for the longest time. I knew Trump would win. And I felt this change coming. Change is coming to the UK in the way that it happened here, but you guys are the beacon on the hill.
Wow, that is incredible. Yeah. Well, and also you've been censored. And so you have this huge social media following, but they took you down several times.
Yes. So when I had 1.2 million followers on Twitter, not that that matters, and then a little group of individuals, Rachel Riley, the Center for Countering Digital Hate Online, yeah, sure thing, like a broom cupboard with one evil guy in, and the Muslim Council went together to Twitter HQ, as it was then in England, and had my account removed, and Tommy Robinson as well. And then with Elon taking over Twitter, I'd still call it Twitter, right? It's now X, but Elon reinstated myself and Tommy Robinson on the same day. And it was Guy Fawkes Day, the day that Guy Fawkes tried to blow up Parliament. So that was another sign that we might be coming back. And that groundswell of feeling now in the streets in the UK, people will just, they'll shout out car windows, go on, Hopkins. And I don't quite know what to do with that now. I'm like, what face do you make to that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going.
Yeah.
And people there's a feeling now.
It's incredibly
and
encouraging.
Americans did this. And, that's really every single person that attended a Republican event or supports PragerU or turned up to a rally on a street corner, or even Democrats that said, I think I want to be part of this because it seems fun and came over. What an amazing thing they did.
Seems truthful and common sense.
Yeah, and all you feel like you belong. With our crowd, you always feel like you belong. You can walk into any group of people and they'll pull down the back of their truck and they'll give you a thing and another thing and a drink and a food and a T-shirt and a hat. That's our family.
Yeah.
So I'm so uplifted, but that's not to say that things aren't very, very dark still for people in the UK right now.
I am very concerned when I watch what is happening with the jihad in your country. And specifically what happened with the Pakistanis. You were ostracized by the media, and I'm not sure if the police came after you for your, I believe it was an article or maybe a tweet, warning your fellow citizens that the Pakistanis were raping women. This was what, in 2014? In 2014. And now you fast forward 10 years later, and you are right, sadly. So describe to us what happened there and what signs you saw early on that I guess the government refused to look at?
Not acknowledge, yeah. So to explain it in the most simple terms, at that time I was Daily Mail columnist. I was on Tucker twice a week. I had my own radio show. And I knew and I saw what was going on with these grooming gangs, rape squads. They're sophisticated, they're organized, they're controlled. They use one member of the gang to sort of hook, they called the hook, to hook in young white girls. And then those young white girls are passed amongst majority Muslim Pakistani men, and they're used, sexually abused, and then they're traded like a commodity up and down the country.
How did you find out about that?
Because from being on the road amongst these communities, talking to the girls, seeing it firsthand.
So it was in plain sight
in
almost.
every single city, in every single town, and it was
horrible.
being covered up all of the time. And the idea was that to keep your jobs, to keep your position, you were to say nothing. And that's what everybody was doing. 10 years ago, everybody that wanted to keep their job said nothing. And for Labour or Democrats, and it's very similar to what happens in Minnesota or many of your cities, Dearborn, Michigan, you know, they are playing to that voting demographic. They don't want to upset, for example, in my country, the Muslim community, so they say nothing. Keir Starmer and Labour are dependent on the Muslim vote. Muslims don't vote by policy, they vote by religion. So you don't offend the religion, you don't offend Islam. So it doesn't matter if you sacrifice white girls as long as you look after Islam. And that's where we are in the UK right now. And I've been inside of mosques where they've been teaching that they use a lollipop, and you know, like a lollipop with a plastic wrapper on?
Yeah.
So they use that as an example of what white girls are. So they use a lollipop, but without the plastic wrapper on, with all the flies on it. And they say, this is what white girls are. They're uncovered, so you can use them. And they're taught that. This is being taught to the Muslim community in the UK. And it's why we've got such a problem, because now we are outnumbered. Demographically, there are more births to Muslims than any other religion. Muhammad is number one name, and Muhammad is number two.
Do you think it's reversible? Do you think that the opposition to Labour could take over, win, and clean up?
Roll back 2 years, and I would say no, although I could feel something changing underfoot. But now, because of this momentum we have, because of this feeling I'm surrounded by, because I've stayed true to my path, and now everyone seems to be saying, yes, we see, like as if the lights just got turned on, you know? And so now Reform are neck and neck with Labour. People seem to have reached a point where they recognise that this needs to be stopped. And because we've been given courage by Elon, for example, just throwing hand grenades into what you can and can't say. So more people are now speaking. And it is a tremendous thing knowing that we really are on the last gasp. And we really do need to, I believe, reform or a similar kind of Britain, putting British people first, British nationals first, some kind of organisation like that will win in the next election, which is 2029.
What an honor to still be the best hope as Americans for you guys.
I know.
2029 is just what I'm scared of. Is 2029 is a long fucking ways away, and there's just still so much damage that Keir Starmer and the Labour government can do to the UK. And I mean, I'm not trying to throw more trash into the well here, but I mean, I'm sure every British citizen is aware of this. But yeah, man, it's scary. It's scary. It's scary that this can go on for so much longer, and it's going to go on for so much longer. We just really hope and sincerely hope that the British people will be able to get their country back in due time.